Are you frozen again? Yeah, you're frozen.
Damn. Sub-Zero in the hood.
You're in a trance.
I feel like she's possessed.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, she was talking about
It
horror
looks like
films too.
she's about to come over her.
She's
Uh-oh.
talking about horror films. She's gonna come
Envy
to the
touching
camera.
me.
Wake up, Shantel! Wake up! Welcome to the Fix with Shantel, yours truly Puma, and we have a special guest, my man Conflict out of Chicago.
In the building.
Right, Shaw City, my city. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. We're going to be chopping up some topics here on the Fix, and we're going to be talking about some hot topics on the Fix with hip hop. And I want to start out with the Super Bowl. There was a lineup with the Super Bowl, and me and Shantel was talking about this a little bit earlier about how I'm still down with Kaepernick. You know, when he did the protest, things of that sort, I'm still down with Kaepernick. And when Jay-Z came in and said the Kaepernick thing was over, I was highly offended with that. And now he's taken over, putting the lineup for the Super Bowl. But it seems like it's trying to get past that. I'm not past it, Shantel. And I don't know, when the last time I watched the Super Bowl halftime show was when Janet Jackson did her little flash and dash. And I'm like, no Super Bowl show. What came in second was Prince. That was and one of my buddies said he went to the one with Prince, and there were big white guys from Chicago crying when Prince did Purple Rain. So
I love me some Prince. I probably would have been crying too, though.
You know, holding each other. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Purple Rain.
Yeah, Purple Rain. And we lighters up in the air. But what do you think about this? It's a great lineup they have.
It's a great lineup.
But give me your ideas and your thoughts about this lineup they put together, showing love.
I'm definitely excited to have Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige. Like, that's huge. And to have them all on one stage is it's epic. It's an epic thought process. And I do agree with you as far as like how everything went down and how Jay-Z did what he did. I think that at this point though, this is just putting hip hop on a map to be seen, kind of bringing in all elements of everything that's going on as far as like, this is a huge deal. We normally see what Madonna, Coldplay, Katy Perry, U2. It's always the whitewashed bullshit that's on there. So I'm with it. I mean, for me, Super Bowl's always been boring for the most part. Nothing has really entertained me. So I usually wait for the halftime. And the last couple of years, except for like J-Lo and Shakira, which was the last year?
I think
that one was really good. That one was good to me because it was all, Spanish, Puerto Rican, Colombian. But we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for it. So
Conflict, you got Dr. Dre, you got Snoop Dogg, you got Eminem, you got Mary J. Blige, you got Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl. How you feeling about that?
Man, so as a fan of hip hop music, I'm loving it. And those are a lot of my favorite artists. M to me is the greatest of all time. Very debatable between a lot of people, and I'm willing to have that argument because I have evidence.
You see my face?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna argue somewhere down
there.
Who
invited this guy, bro? Who invited him?
But for me, as a hip hop artist and like everything, I'm very, very excited. I do agree with you on what you say as far as the whole Kaepernick and everything, but I do also see it as an opportunity to move forward. I think a lot has happened since Kaepernick has took his knee. A lot of things have been brought to the forefront. We almost went through a whole civil war when Trump was in office. I think the NFL itself has noticed a lot of their mistakes, and it could be, for show, but it looks like they're trying to clean it up. So I can jump on board with that, whether it's for show or not. But the fact is things are being brought to the forefront and they're being acknowledged now. And I think everyone's at a place where they're trying to get past it and just move forward and just live peacefully in harmony. And it put hip hop on the map. As far as Jay-Z goes,
He's a money
I love
guy.
Jay-Z. I'm a big fan of Jay-Z. And I one thing I don't really like about him is he can be contradicting sometimes.
Yeah.
And
That's most artists, though.
Yeah, very true, Shantel. Very, very
Most
true.
artists.
But you know, they wanted him to perform, and he was like, "Nah, I'm rolling with Kaepernick and la la la." And then all of a sudden, you're buying is it he buying an NFL team or something, or it was part of buying an NFL team or something? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're buying teams, you're involved in halftime shows, you know what I mean? Like, so to me, and when they interviewed about it, and he says, we're past that. I do agree with you, Don. I do not think when he said that, we were not past that. We were still in the middle of a civil war. Yeah. But maybe he did push the envelope for the NFL to at least jump on board. So, you know, I see this. And not only is it going to be a dope show, but I think it is a step forward in progression as to unifying, you know, the racism and like everything that's been out there for years. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows what'll happen after this? But I'm happy for it. Like I can dig it. I can dig it.
Don't realize sometimes is that these artists don't get paid for these halftime shows. It's basically to promote.
They come out pocket for it too.
And then people start, you know, streaming their music and buying their music is to actually promote themselves. So, yeah, a lot of people didn't know that you don't get paid for these halftime shows. It's basically,
you actually come out and put the show together yourself.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
And in terms of like all the old, like I personally feel we haven't had a good Super Bowl halftime show in the longest. And like I feel what you're saying about J-Lo and like la, but for me, when it comes to football and a football game, that kind of music isn't suitable. And the only one that came close is probably Bruno Mars. And
Beyonce had a really good show.
Yeah, Bruno Mars kind of snapped, but when Beyonce did it, and I'm like, how the hell can you listen to Halo and come out and want to tackle somebody in the third quarter? Like, you know what I mean? And same thing with Shakira and all of that. And like, for me, it's just the playlist never went with the football.
Never matched the game.
Yeah. So like now I feel like, all right, you know, I could listen to Dr. Dre shooting the motherfucker in Compton and want to come out and want to tackle somebody in the third quarter. You know? So like, for me, it's definitely more suiting for the football game.
Good point. Let's move on. Michael K. Williams passed recently. May rest in peace. But 50 Cent was really unclassy and remains unclassy with this. I don't even know the beef they had between each other. But I don't really watch 50 Cent shows, so I can't speak to the shows that he was trying to promote, Shantel. Well, what do you think about this kind of unclassy move by 50 Cent against Michael K. Williams? And the autopsy did come out that he did OD on some drugs.
50 Cent is a savage when it comes to just being a huge troll. And he has no regards for nobody. That's just who he is. That's who he made himself out to be, the big bad wolf. He's the bully. Do I think it was very tasteless? Yes. Do I think there's a time and place for things? Yes. Do I think he owes people an apology? For sure he does, because Michael K. Williams was fucking an amazing actor. He was an activist. He was just awesome. He was a good guy. Just in general, you could tell he had a good soul all around. So for me, yes. As far as what he was promoting his show, Raising Kanan, which I actually watch and I actually like. Not for nothing, 50 Cent does have some good shows that he's had in the mix as far as Power. Now he has Raising Kanan. The next one is going to be about the Tommy, who was another big character in Power. So as far as him trying to up that to advertise his show, I think it was tasteless, but that's who he is. He's tasteless. And that's why 50 Cent always gets the rap that he gets, because he says shit that most people would never think to say or put on live. And even like, he's just an asshole. Eventually one person he's going to get, you know, you get what you get. Karma's a bitch, and it'll come back to him. But that's kind of how he's always been. That's how he ruined Ja Rule's career, by talking shit about him. That's what he knows. He's a gutter dude. That's what he knows. So,
well, I respect his hustle. I respect his gangster.
He's a great producer, though. Not for nothing.
Great producer. and loved a lot. I love a lot of his songs. But Conflict, man, I know in my culture and my family, we got to respect the dead, whether you like them or not. Your thoughts on this, sir?
I'm with Shantel on it. I'm with Shantel. Definitely unclassy, definitely low blow. You know, and there's people suffering from the stuff that Michael Williams passed away from, you know, and it's insensitive to them. But, you know, 50's, that's 50. That's 50. 50's always been trolling. He's been trolling. He was trolling with 6ix9ine. He was trolling, you know what I mean? Like he is a troll. He is a troll. And it doesn't surprise me at all. And he is going to have his day, just like Shantel said. It'll catch up to him. But he's doing what he does. And I've always had this thought about 50, like he's a big bully. He's a big bully, and one day it's like, and it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me. He's touching nerves like he's always have. He creates enemies. He's got no problem creating enemies.
It's the barbershop, you know the rules. No fighting, no cussing, no blooding. Now sit yourself down and act like you got some sense.
We were all together a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about Drake's Certified Lover Boy and Kanye West Dondi. And I'm gonna ask you, what do you think about that? I'm gonna weigh in a little bit later. But what do you think about these two artists that came out? They came out at the same time, and their tracks.
I don't know. You might have to censor this.
Don't censor. We don't censor shit.
Let's go.
Kanye. I'm gonna dig into Donda first. Not a fan. I thought the whole there was like 27 songs on it. I give him a good solid 6 songs that are pretty good out of the 27.
Wow. So
if 21 tracks. And I'll give them 3 maybes. So we'll put them at 9. So if 19 tracks out of your 27 tracks are hot garbage,
wow.
And you dedicated this to your mom, like I can't honor it. Like I'm still, you know, the Chicago in me, I'm still stuck on the old school Kanye, and I'm still giving him a chance and trying to like find something dope. But there's a big difference between when you're being yourself and soulful and it comes out unique and different and it's you. Kanye to me is at a point, and he's been at a point for maybe his last 6 albums or so, where he's just experimenting.
Yeah.
I don't even think he knows himself anymore. I don't even think he knows
all this different stuff, and it's even like it's not coming from him. Like he's pushing the envelope way too much, and he's not Kanye no more. He's like I gave up on this dude after this album. This was my last shot. And I'm done with Kanye. Like his theatricals and his like everything. He's another 50, not in a bully way, but he does things to kick up the dust and get people talking. And I think his stuff is more built off of hype than it actually is off of material. Because his material doesn't live up to the hype.
Not at all.
He's a very loyal and strong fan base that keeps putting up the numbers that he does. But I'm sorry, numbers they're just numbers. You could have all the numbers in the world, but if your shit's trash, your shit's trash. And
but he has a big following of people who, no matter if he was to shit glitter, it would be gold to them. So at some point, like, his numbers work. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I heard it and I thought it was horrible. It was boring. It was horrible. I don't know what the whole point was. It like the whole hyping it up as far as market goes, marketing wise. I think he did a fucking phenomenal ass job. He did everything ass backwards. He didn't put out the album first. He made people come to a listening party, did not know what they were getting themselves into, made money off of that. Made money off of made money off of 3 of those listening parties. That's not including merch. That's not including that little thing that he sold for $200 and something that makes its own music, so that you can redo his songs and make it how you want to make it. So for me, I feel like smart, fucking genius when it comes to money. That's the problem. He's a genius in his art. But as far as the music goes, I think he needs to just let that shit go and be a producer to other people. This was a snooze fest. I don't even give it 6. He's lucky I gave it like 3 to 5, if that. Because I was so disappointed, but I was not happy about it to be like, See, that's what I'm saying. Like the one with Lauryn Hill is like the one that I think I play the most that's in my rotation in a playlist is him and Lauryn Hill. That's it.
The unreleased joint that he has with Andre 3000.
That one was good too.
Yeah, better than that whole album.
Oh yes.
But he was kind of rejecting other artists that he put on and said, "Oh, I'm not going to use this." And artists, I know Chris Brown was like, "Yeah, you know, you're a whole hoe."
I was cracking up about that.
So well, I listened to the album and I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? That was my whole feeling during listening to his project was like, what is he doing? Where is he?
Yeah. You don't know if you want to go gangbanging or go to church.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. Yes, that's so weird.
I feel that he wants to dedicate something to his mom. I honor that. And I'm like, you know, did he do it justice? Did he do what he really wanted to do? And it's almost like he's in a state of confusion, and it's coming out through his music. It's really coming out through this. Yeah. I had no idea where he was with this.
He's dedicated songs to his mom that have touched more on other albums than this whole album that he did with Donda. I feel like other songs that he's done once his mom passed away, if he's been in, it hasn't been his song, but he's talked about it, lyrics that he's said about his mother hit harder than this whole fucking album that he put together, which was it was a polished shit. Like somebody should have told him that though. All his friends, y'all are fucked up for that. Like nobody told him. Like
I think when you're at a certain point,
where else could you go?
People really can't tell you anything.
Yeah,
at a point
true.
Where he feels like
that's true.
I'm the authority. I'm gonna say what goes out. You really can't. Your input means nothing to me.
But he's a narcissist. Yeah. So yes, yeah.
Let's go to Drake, Certified Lover Boy. Now I said to you early, Shantel, that I think Drake needs to decide whether he wants to be a hip hop artist or R&B artist, because this was kind of like, to me, an album lullabies for hip hop heads, because it put me to sleep twice. It put me to sleep. Like, everything sounded the same. Not saying it's not good music, but it put me to sleep twice. What are your thoughts about Certified Lover Boy?
It was a snooze fest. I mean, Drake is legit the Keith Sweat of this generation. I think there are songs. It's true, he is. Like, he is a woo type of dude. He's always been that way. He is always harmonizing. He's an in touch with his feelings type of man. And I don't hate it. You know, I don't hate it. I don't want to cry all the time though. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a thug and I like to do thug shit. I don't want to hear this shit. But no, I was really disappointed. Like, JJ heard it as soon as my son, he heard it as soon as it dropped. And then when I got up for work, I heard it and I'm like, next and next. And I could say probably like 2 songs I liked, but it's not enough to get me to want to hear it again. Like, I don't want to hear the whole album if I don't have to be honest with you. If I hear it on my Pandora because it's playing certain songs, I can hear it and I'll be like, all right, that's a decent song. But it was garbage. So it was very disappointing. I can't say it was garbage. It was really disappointing.
All right, Conflict.
So
chime in, bro.
The first time I heard Certified Lover Boy, I was still fresh off the what the fuck from Donda. So when I first heard it, for me it was like dope as shit, because again, I'm comparing it to Donda.
Right.
When I gave it my second run, it wasn't, my feelings weren't that strong for it. Like, yeah, it was good, but a lot of it is redundant of what Drake does that we've been hearing for the last fucking 13 years or whatever now. So like, it was, I'm not gonna discredit it and say that it was like a whack album, but I'm with Shantel when she says, I don't know if I'll give it another run. It was okay, and it definitely has there was some cuts in there where like I felt I could personally relate to, and I was like, yo, fucking genius, this guy. or whatever. But to sit here and like bump it in my whip with my sounds and like la la la, like, nah.
That's
nah.
like, you know what
One
that
that's
reminds
still-
me of? That reminds me of when gangbangers, they listen to freestyle and they be in their car and their feelings like hella fucking rough. Like they got tattoo drops here, but they're like singing their heart out.
And there's real tears over it.
Yes, that's how I feel this Drake album is. Like, who wants to drive around listening to that shit and you'll be crying in your car? Like, don't feel it.
Yeah, a lot of it was that you know, like you said, he doesn't know if he wants to be a hip hop or R&B artist, which is fine because I think he kind of found a way to fuse them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it works for him. It's like there's hip hop and then there's R&B and then there's Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird how that works, but that's him. That's Drake. So
Yeah, Conflict, I sent you some memes. I sent you and Shantel some memes, and you're like, you know, you got to stop it. You got to stop it with the sensitivity.
yeah, you got no chill, bro.
If I want to get sensitive, I will listen to Drake, you know, get inside, get to myself, and
Right.
you know. But you know, I think he's a great artist. He has a niche, and he does what he does, and it works for him. But
Yeah.
I definitely like this album more than I like the Donda album.
Yeah, just had to catch it.
Let's go to Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj in her comments about COVID, and I guess somebody in her family, their balls swelled up, and that's why she wasn't getting a shot. And I'm like, does she have those too? And so that was my first thought, because if you don't have those, you don't have to worry about that swelling up. But Shantel, has she come off? Because what kills me about, well, I shouldn't say kills me, what gets me about what people say about, I got to do my own research. And what research are you doing? Are you on Facebook? Are you on, you know, what research are you doing that you're not coming up with a conclusion on getting vaxxed or not? Shantel?
As far as she goes,
Mm-hmm.
First of all, and I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but Nicki needs to worry about her fucking pedophile boyfriend who likes to fuck with little kids. Ooh. So instead of you worrying about vaccinations, maybe you need to cut his balls so that way he doesn't do anything else to anybody else. But anywho, I mean, she's a smart, I mean, you would think she'd be a smart cookie, right? Like she has access to be able to know I've been vaccinated. So come on.
Have you heard her bars? Do you think she's smart?
I mean, obviously not, but you know I don't like, you know, dog.
Yeah, I know you don't like, that's why I went to do first.
Puma, how long have we been doing this? And I've always said the same shit. Yeah. I fucking hate Nicki Minaj. And because of this, like, I can care less about the vaccination part. I just think, like, you're out here surrounded by pedophiles in your family and you're with someone now that has it. So fuck up, bitch, get a vaccine. You need to be vaccinated, but you also need to make sure that you don't have a man who likes to touch kids. So I don't even want to continue on with that.
Woo! Conflict, take the wheel.
So
makes me so angry.
All right. Here's the thing. COVID has been very crazy. And as a result of COVID, there is a lot of misinformation out there. And like, it's just been nuts. And some people believe, some people don't. Some people are getting vaccinated, some people are not. But the thing is, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's got something to say. And Nicki, like, she's got to understand there's people like following her that take her word like she's God or something. You know what I'm saying? So when you say shit like that, and then you got Fauci coming after you talking about like, yo, that's bullshit. What are you going to say? Nah, you're bullshit? You're going to call Fauci bullshit?
A lot of people came at her for that.
Yeah, so like, the thing is, like, I think we all, as a society, need to stop playing with this shit. Like, on some real shit. And like, I get the fact that like maybe the numbers are misrepresented and maybe they're like, you know, but I'm even willing to go as far as to say we'll give 3/4 of the numbers as bullshit. That 1/4, the numbers, the deaths, the sickness, every fucking thing is a lot of fucking people. A lot of people. So you know, and a lot of the shit is simple. Wear a mask, stay away from each other, like la la la. And then I see people just downplaying it and then making it some other shit. Oh, you're not gonna tell me what to do. You know, la la la. Like, bro, it's simple shit.
But do you think that people should, do you think that when it comes to artists, they should be telling people whether or not to get vaccinated? I don't feel like that's right. You have LeBron James who said it. He's like, I got vaccinated, but it's not my place to tell people what they should do. Now, if you want to play with it, that's on you. You play with it. I got vaccinated. You don't believe, that's totally on you if you don't believe. I know people personally that lost people to this disease. So it is a big deal.
I've lost people to it.
But you can't, you know, it sucks because it's like you can't say artists shouldn't talk about it because they should be able to, or people, but at the same time, like, do you, like you said, do your research, know what you have more access as an artist that to be able to talk to people who know about these things versus us who don't have that. You know, I can call and pick up and talk to a doctor like that could tell me the truth about everything.
Here's the thing. If you're putting out misinformation as an artist, as people who have a following in the platform, I got a big problem with that. So when she was throwing out, oh, my cousin did this, that had nothing to do with COVID.
She's an idiot.
She's an
idiot.
So when you're putting out misinformation, if you're just saying, you know what, I have no comment, I'm good with that. Kyrie Irving did the same thing. I don't want to talk about my personal status. I'm cool with that. You know, you deal with the consequences. But, you know, you're right that, you know, artists, they do bear responsibility because there are role models. People do follow them. But don't put out misinformation, things that you don't know and then you start screwing about it, and then you wind up in trouble. So that's the problem I have with her. It's like, what's your cousin have to do with COVID and all this other stuff? That's a reaction that's probably something that's unique to him, or something else that he may be doing to make his balls swell up like that. I don't know. So I'm not a doctor.
Or it's steering to get away from what's really going on. And the part that her man is in a whole court issue because of it. So she could be steering the masses. Hey, don't look at my man and his case that he's got going on. Let's look at me post stupid shit because I'm an idiot.
I know when I first came to Chicago, the guys put me on Big Girl season. Usually when the first frost comes, it's Big Girl season. Lizzo has been complaining about folks fat shaming her. And then the next week she comes out and says, you know, I'm getting my back blown out, so I had to miss this award show. I'm like, what's the deal with her? I'm going to conflict with this first. My thing is that, you know, she's bringing a lot of attention to herself, but when she gets the attention she doesn't want, she wants to complain about it. That's part of celebrity.
Listen, we all know the entertainment business. And when the entertainment business comes, when it comes down to, it's like, you're here today, gone tomorrow. You could be on the top of the world and drop to the bottom like nothing. So what you're saying is true. There's gonna be a day where she's gonna say something's gonna come and bite her in the ass. Now Lizzo, I ain't mad at Lizzo though, because you know what? Body shaming has been, you know, around for a while. And I never even like took notice as to how it affects people, because like I came up clowning about fat people is just a thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's starting to hit me like how it's affecting that person. To us it's clowning, you know, and I don't mean any of the shit that I say. I'm just clowning. You know what I'm saying? But that have insecurities and could go home and think some, you know, take it to a whole nother level. So within the past few years, I can say my mentality is switched to like, no matter what size, no matter what's, you know, disability, you know, like no matter what flaw, quote unquote, you have, you should always be confident about yourself.
True.
And Lizzo to me is the prime example of that. It's like, you can say whatever you want about me, but I'm fucking beautiful. And I love that about her, but the beef needs to stop, because she is putting a lot of shit on blast, and you are drawing the attention to yourself, and it's gonna creep up and bite you in the ass.
I mean, it has been.
And I understand, like, she, you know, people are coming at her because they were like me, clowning, and they'll clown her because she's overweight. So she's like, "No, fuck you. I'm beautiful." And like, I get that whole nine, but you are also on a platform where they don't matter. Let them say what the fuck they want to say.
Right.
You just keep doing you, and you keep being the beautiful fucking person that you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, that's what I think of Lizzo and her like la 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 is like what the shit that's bothering you, the fat shaming and all of that. Just let it die out. You already surpassed it, and you're still coming back to it. You know what I mean? You're
giving it light.
You already proved that they can say whatever it is they want about body shaming and la la la. I'm still doing me, and I'm still a person.
Okay. Sure. Okay. I like that. Shantel?
I agree. I think I agree with Khan when he says at some point you've already hit a status quo where the people who are not a fucking factor should be exactly what that is. I do believe that because she is human, things are gonna bother her. She's human, and you can wake up one day and you can have the best outlook on life, and you can feel like you're beautiful and everything, and the next day you don't feel that way. And as far as her, I feel like she is brought to the forefront. You know, girls in any shape and size should feel comfortable in their body. And yes, she puts a lot of it out. There's no room to wonder what Lizzo's ass looks like, because we know what it looks like. There's no wonder to look at her stomach, because you know it hangs from every different type of way. I do like respect her. I respect her in the sense where she is making girls look at themselves and say, I can be beautiful however I feel. If I'm big, I'm a thick girl, and I have my problems with that. Imagine me being in Lizzo's status and having fucking thousands and millions of people looking at me every day and watching my Instagram and then commenting on every single thing I do. That is going to affect anybody regardless of your status quo. You're still a human being. You still feel some type of way. I respect her because I feel like, fuck, man, at some point, enough is enough. We shouldn't make fat shaming a thing. It shouldn't be a thing anymore. If you don't like big girls, then don't look. But I know a lot of men who love to cuddle up with some cushion for the pushing because that's what they like. Fuck, like some people like short little men. Some people like tall men. It's all in your preference.
Who likes short men?
Everyone's got their thing.
I mean, a lot of people like short men. Tall girls sometimes like short men. Like, it just depends. I don't know, but to me, I just feel like because of her, Rihanna, who has now the Fenty show, runway show on Hulu or Amazon Prime, I think.
Yep. Showcase
big girls, showcase big men. And I fucking am here for it. Like, I love it. I find it empowering. Like, man, you know what? When I'm feeling uncomfortable to wear a certain outfit outside because I feel like I'm too big or it doesn't look right, and then I see these women in their nothing but bare bra and panties, and I'm like, and they're working it like, hey, there's no, like, I feel it's empowering to me. So girl, get your back blown the fuck out and run that shit. Like, you're making money. I am not mad at you.
Hey, send me the address of that strip club that features
in Atlanta for the big girls.
I
don't know the address.
I got a cousin I know who's going to take a road trip, go to that strip club.
I don't know the address. I do know that it was on TikTok, and it was this white girl, and she's a big girl. And at the end of the night, she walked out with I'm talking about at least 5 stacks. Getting it. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna get bigger so I can just become a stripper, do something strange for a little piece of change. Like, fuck. I'm in the wrong field. Like, I'm not meant for this good girl life. Like, I want to eat some chicken wings and shit and feel good about it. Not count calories, okay?
Lil Nas X is out of control. Your thoughts, Shantel, because
come to me.
I'll start first.
Go ahead, you start. I'll go after you.
Because I don't think he's much of a rapper. I think he has a platform. He's using it to push, an agenda, and he's doing really well with that. But to try to put hip hop in it, I think he's got that platform. He had, I think, one hit record, the Old Town Road, which I didn't think was a great hit, but and I didn't think it was really hip hop, but he, won awards, all this other stuff. Now he's, on TV every week doing whatever. And so it's like, okay, he has an agenda. He has an issue that he's trying to push. That's cool. But, it seems like he's trying to go overboard with it. And I can't hang with it. I can't hang with it.
He's not trying. He's definitely pushing the fucking envelope. He was pregnant. Okay? He had a full fucking belly on and gave birth to his CD, Montario. Okay? That's reaching. That's not pushing, that's reaching. Full belly, and went to the show with a belly, like if he was giving birth to a fucking whole album. Like, look,
the Lord.
And now that, which is even funny, because speaking on that, not to change it, but to kind of go hand in hand with Lil Nas, he posts on, he did a tweet, I think, on Twitter, saying that now he's tired of being gay. He wants to come back to the girls' side. Like, he wants.
What?
Yeah.
I know that.
Here, Miley Cyrus comes out and she's like, with a banana, eating the banana, talking about Lil Nas X, you could get it. So, like, it's just a mess. So, do I think he's overboard? Yes. Do I think he has a smart marketing strategy? Yeah, because you took over this fucking. You came out as what you wanted to, this little young boy doing the little Old Town Road. You had Nas do the remix to the song. So you were smart in catching it. I think people are pushing, and this is what I was talking about with Little Boosie. They're pushing an agenda on our kids, and now it's coming into the rap side of it. And now once we okay this, it is going to, and it's not saying that far from anything. I'm just saying, like, it's being pushed now. Now it's being pushed from this side. Rap was rap for what it was. Now we have this whole agenda being pushed on our kids for this. So I just think that he does too much, but fuck, if it works for him, it works for him. Because what can we say? He's got a following. There's nothing that can be done. He used what he used it. He used the music like he should have and ran with it.
He used his platform. He used his
platform. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're an artist, you're hip hop, aficionado. What do you think about this, man?
So like, I feel like I gotta choose my words carefully.
You do. That's why I couldn't speak. Yes, you do.
But,
for sure.
So I do agree with Shantel that an agenda, and Boosie, that an agenda is being pushed. I have nothing against the LGT. There's like 8 letters in it now. It used to be 4. I have nothing against it. I've worked with gay people in the music industry. And I got none against. I know a ton of lesbians, some gay men, you know what I mean? They've always been cool with me. I partied with these people. They've always been cool with me. Like, nothing changes. Okay, you like the same sex, big fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. It's like, I accept you for who you are and what you are. This whole, like, and I understand, like, they kind of went through it and you know what I mean? They had to hide who they are because it wasn't socially accepted. But now it is. You won. And you are what you are. We're gonna support you, like la la la. But all this, like, thinking that we're still coming at you, and there are probably people that are, but I don't see that. I can't see it. Like, I see it more being socially accepted and more it being okay to same sex or dress as you want to dress and change your gender, and like, okay, cool, you got it. Stop, like. And if people got something to say, let them say it. Let them say it, because it's all speaking for itself right now.
But the thing that kills me is, like, yes, they're not being attacked anymore. Let it, like you said, it's becoming socially acceptable. At the same time, we have bigger issues at hand where I feel like there's race that's still an issue. There's people who think like this is now minimal compared to what else is. is being brought to the forefront. And I think that people need to stop using that as a crutch.
They got, you know what I mean? They got their own months. They like it's all good. Like for me, it's all good. And there might still be some struggle underneath the table because it probably is, you know, kind of stereotypish and like things like that. You could, you know, I can get it that they feel like they're still in a fight, but stop pushing what you are upon me. And stop pushing what you are upon the people like around me. If that's what you are and you're proud, cool. I got no problem with that. But I'm not trying to raise my kid by your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Stop pushing it upon my children. I don't have children, so I can't really like, you know what I mean? But that's how I see it. And that's how it's like, it's not that deep. Just be who you are and let yourself shine. And that's what they've been doing. Honestly.
Yeah, don't use the community as the crutch.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got nothing against the community.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes they treat me like I'm an enemy and like, nah.
Shantel, you got any hip hop news that you want to kind of come out with and want to talk about?
We could talk about R. Kelly taking his ass to jail. And now you better not drop that soap because they waiting for his ass. So that was a great thing to see, was that they finally charged him and he has 9 counts or something. So he's going to be spending a very long time in jail, which I'm happy about that.
Racketeering to sex trafficking.
Yeah. And yeah.
And now it's got to come to Chicago. I'm not satisfied though, because
I'm not either.
I'm not satisfied is because the people who enabled him to do that for so many years, I think they should do some time too. All those folks who co-signed it, who
everybody,
because he's
everybody
he can't read or write, right? So people were arranging plane flights, communicating with these young ladies, what he wanted, things of that sort. They were trying to cover it up in court, in the court cases. Oh, I never saw this. I never been around this. All no, you need to be responsible too, because this has been going on for a long time. I knew about this before the documentary came out years ago about him hanging out in McDonald's from folks who knew him and went to high school with young girls. So if it's been going on for that long, there have been a lot of people who knew this for a long time who have been enabling him. And I think they should be punished also. Conflict?
I also know some people in the music industry that have worked with R. Kelly. And the stories that I heard is he's a real asshole. And all this shit that's coming out like doesn't surprise me just based off of, you know, those stories that I've already heard. And so like for me, it doesn't shock me, but I would have never thought it grew this deep where you're involved in fucking like sex trafficking. and that's crazy. But I am glad that he's put away, and I do agree with you. Like maybe this is bigger than just R. Kelly. I mean, yeah, obviously it's bigger than just R. Kelly, you know. And those people should they need to get knocked too. This shit sex like this shit ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit ain't cool. Everybody involved needs to. Sex trafficking is just not cool. Like it's just not cool, and I don't understand how there's even a business. These are fucking human beings, and like everyone, yeah, I agree with you. Everyone definitely involved needs.
I think it's coming little by little. I think it's there's not even R. Kelly. He's a small fry compared to Epstein and Trump and all these other men that I'm sure are doing the same shit to these women. These little girls, it's a big deal. And no, I'm not satisfied with the fact. I'm glad that he's away and he can no longer harm any other person, any other little girl, and destroy their lives. Because I know someone personally who was young and was with him. And thank God she was able to leave because he put his hands on her. He caught her the same way at 14, 15. I think she was like 15, 16 years old. And she was a beautiful little girl. And they had like a thing for a little bit until it started to get a little bit too much for her. And she was able to at least walk away. She was smart enough to be able to leave before it got worse, where she was not being held prisoner and not being fed and being treated like shit. So I'm happy that he's got his karma. And I'm hoping that with this comes a lot more of these type of men, these pedophiles, these people who are doing these to these little girls and boys, like they get their time too. But that's a big deal for me. I didn't think that they were actually going to charge him. You never know with shit. Sometimes people get away with things and it could look at you right in the face and the facts are there and somehow you're still letting this person slide. So that at least it's a small jump in the right direction.
I'll say this and then we can jump on another story. If conflict doesn't have anything else. But when Gloria Allred is the prosecutor, you're going down. If she's on the other side and you're the defense, she don't play. If she's taking a case against you, you just cancel Christmas.
So I'm a big fan of Benny the Butcher and the whole Griselda crew. I know a lot of people feel like it's a little overrated, but Benny the Butcher has bars. So if you've never heard of Benny the Butcher, get on it. But LeBron James previews Snoop Dogg, Jadakiss, and Benny the Butcher song following a Drake leak. So Migos rapper Quavo previously addressed how Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James gets his hand on music before anybody else. Before the Lakers get their 2021-2022 season or 2022 season underway, the NBA legend teased an unreleased track from Snoop Dogg featuring Benny the Butcher and Jadakiss, which I just think is fucking monumental. Who James referred to as the most underrated hip hop artist of all time after his Versus victory lap in August. So there's a song, if you go on Instagram, and I don't know if I would play it if you guys would really be able to hear it. But it sounds dope as fuck. So let me see if I can get it to play so you guys can hear it. Let's see if you guys can hear it. Are you able to hear it?
Yo, baby. Murder music just for this type of shit they can ban us. Cause this what they gonna play when they wipe their prints off the hammers. I really like that. So, just wipe the shit for the camera. Definitely something to listen to. I want to hear this track. Like I said, Benny Butcher is a huge deal. As far as it comes to me, he is slowly but surely rising the ranks and he is a dope lyricist. But get on that. And the Meek Mill album is out. I've been hearing a lot of good reviews about it. I haven't had the opportunity to sit there and listen yet, but something to tune into. So there's a couple albums coming up.
I always love Jadakiss.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, let me hear it because I definitely got to listen to it. I haven't heard it, but man, I've been hearing really good freaking feedback about it. So
I always thought Jadakiss was like one of the most underrated.
Very underrated.
I got him in my playlist all day, every day, and I'm glad he's getting like a lot of love from that Versus.
He proved himself, even though he didn't have to. He made himself relevant again, and even for people like me, because I love Jadakiss. I love his like the grit of Jada. He's got that gritty New York fucking like gutter. Yes, and he got bars. People sleep on him. So for me, I'm like, it made me remember how good he was because I listened to it here and there, but it made me want to go back and listen to all his fucking albums again. So that was the smartest thing he ever did. So
I've never stopped listening to Jada.
No.
Jada's always been, I agree, he probably is one of the most underrated MCs. Like this, he's always had bars. He's always hung with the best of them. His career speaks for itself. The Verses was just I think he actually didn't even need Chic or
I thought the same thing when I watched it. He didn't need those guys.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The Locks and
it's the Locks. Like everybody knows that in the Locks he was the best, but still, and they all got their own little swag for that group. I think he definitely needed them people. Yeah. They make him in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking forward to hearing this track because that's an ill lineup, man. You tell me Jada, Benny, and Snoop, like run that. On that beat, hell yeah, run that.
It already sounded hard. I wish I could have played it so you guys could hear, but it already sounded like it was gonna be a good song. So yeah. So Kanye West, Drake, and Jay Prince plotting to free Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover. So this was a big deal because I sent my son to go see it, and my cousin went with to go see the Donda performance, and it went from that whole thing of church, and then all of a sudden it went to who let the GDs in the door.
Oh.
I'm gonna need you to hear this song, Don, because you're looking at me and I don't think that means you haven't heard the song, but there's a fucking song that says who let the GDs in the door. And you've got to hear it's a horrible song. It's a horrible song. So he brought out Larry Hoover's son, I think, at the concert to talk about,
And
at the Donda listening event. So he bought him out. So now the infamous gangster disciple co-founder Larry Hoover has been behind bars since 1973 when he was convicted of a 19-year-old drug dealer William Pookie Young's murder. While serving his sentence, Hoover was slapped with additional charges of conspiracy, extortion, and money laundering in 1995, following a 17-year undercover investigation into his criminal enterprise. That's all he is. So what they're trying to do, Hoover was arrested at Dixon Correctional Center by federal agents and moved to the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago to stand trial. He was found guilty on all charges in 1997 and is sentenced to 6 life sentences, which may be deemed controversial. He's currently serving his sentence in the United States Penitentiary. But according to his Instagram, Rap-A-Lot Records founder Jay Prince, Drake, and Kanye have a plan to spring the 70-year-old out of prison. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, he wrote on Saturday. Good plans in the making to free our brother Larry Hoover with the support of Champagne Papi and Kanye West to be continued. So Kanye West has been fighting.
Where's this source coming from?
This is from Hip Hop DS.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I mean, he's been talking about it in that listening party. That was something that they were saying, that while Larry Hoover has been in jail, he has been doing great, giving back, doing all this stuff. So they're really trying to get him out because he doesn't deserve to be in there. So let's see if they make it happen. So.
All right, let's hit one more story and then we get out of here for this episode. You want to do Mom Spaghetti, Eminem, since that's
I'm talking about that.
Now I'm understanding the song. He threw up Mom Spaghetti. So why would I want Mom Spaghetti in a restaurant now? Help me out with this.
I don't even know where the concept came. I was kind of caught off guard with this because it just came out of the woodworks. Like all of a sudden I see Eminem like posing like this in the middle of a fucking drive-through, and then I see the menu and I'm like, this is fucking expensive for some damn spaghetti and meatballs. Like it's like $15 or $12, some shit. I don't know where he came from. I have to look into this more to see where that
came from. The song.
I know where it came from. I'm just saying, like, when did this happen where he planned to open up a restaurant called Mom Spaghetti? That's just sprung out.
It was probably why don't I just open a restaurant that based off my iconic line?
I got an idea about a new restaurant.
People are gonna go and pay $15 for us to get meatball
sandwich. They did, and he had a really good turnout, and he was there for like a couple hours.
I want some. Just to say I had my spaghetti. If it makes me throw up, then hey, fuck it. But
hey, I'm not mad at him. Eminem is definitely has to start looking at other sources as far as putting his, businessman suit on, because his rapping career ain't that great as of yet. But that's just me talking my shit. But that's
gonna be a debate that we're gonna have.
I don't want to get into it. That's why I throw my little shade, but but that's that. So
yeah, well, let's go on it real quick, because there are a lot of rappers who are out there like Eminem's the greatest rapper ever, and I can't see it. You're gonna go over Rakim. You're gonna go over
the founders of hip hop. Yeah.
You're gonna go over. You got Rakim. You got KRS-One. They're in a class by themselves, as far as I'm concerned. You can't put them with the record for me. Then you have Big Daddy Kane. The list goes on and on and on. And now you put Eminem like before them, like I don't get it. I
think in his prime. Hold on, because I already know where Khan's gonna go with this. For me, I feel like in his prime, Eminem was the shit. Like he was the shit. I feel what kind of fucked him up was that he catered to a specific type of people, which became commercial. And then the hibbly bobbly, libbly blibbly. I cannot I cannot do that no more. So like, to me, I was like, yeah, it was great. He had substance, he had foundation, he had a story when he would talk in his albums previous. And now I just feel like, you know how Andre 3000 said, at a certain point in your life, if you feel like you don't mesh well with how hip hop is changing and you can't get on the train to go with the time, then maybe it's your time to like, hey, put it up and just let it be and remain where you're at. Do I think he is a great rapper? Yes. Do I think he's the greatest rapper now? No. I think he had his time has passed, and you're right. It kind of sucks when, not that it kind of sucks, but we have other people right now that are still very much fucking current that hasn't even touched that fucking status quo. You have Method Man that's still out. You have J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. You have all these other people. Eminem, you had your time. Like, bow down gracefully and eat at your mom's spaghetti restaurant. Like, that's how I feel.
For me, it comes down to one thing: bars.
He does not have that.
What are you talking about? The man
does not. This album that he just did was garbage, and half of his shit doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I can agree with you. Like,
I'm gonna
his
pull up
whole
lyrics.
like style now and how he's catering to audience and like blah blah. Like, I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the greatest of all time, I'm gonna come down to who's gonna be the last one standing, if it all came down to it. And I think everyone who has had their time, and let's not mention that M has done tracks with some of these people. I'll give Biggie and Pac because they got cut short. Mm-hmm. Who knows what they could have become? But if you want to talk about who went more further and who can outshine who on a track and who can outbar who in a battle, I'm giving it to M. I don't think anyone could take him.
I'm gonna respectfully say, give me Rakim.
Rakim. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like,
but I love him too because he's made his.
What it comes down for me, bars.
I gotta go Rakim or KRS-One.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go with those two. In a battle,
I respect it because I love KRS too, but I think M would demolish KRS in a battle is all I'm saying.
No. KRS-One is literally the most smartest rapper there is. KRS-One is fucking genius with bars. The way he flows is it glues together. So for me, I feel like he would get, it might be a different rap style because he was more of the 80s and M is a little bit more newer, but I still feel like KRS-One would really fuck him up. If there was one thing that you would have to show somebody that would explain hip hop in its entirety, one album, one track, one song.
Holy shit.
What song or album would you say, here, listen to this so that you can learn what hip hop really is?
Wow.
I just felt like it was such an intriguing question.
It jumped in my head real quick. Boogie Down Productions with Scott LaRock and KRS-One. I mean, I would have to start off with right there. You know, The Bridge is Over.
Yep, it's a great song. That is a great song.
What you got? You thinking hard.
Man, that's a great question. That's a lot of things that's coming to mind, but I think the one that's kind of overshadowing them right now, at the moment put on the spot, is probably the Black most Talib. The Blast.
The Blast, yes. That is my favorite fucking, yep.
Yeah.
I think the album came, I think it was a bridge in generations from the origination of hip hop into what it was becoming into kind of what it is now. It's got more businessly involved in like la, but it was still for the streets. It was still, a culture within ourselves that we represented to the fullest before the business took over 100%. You know what I mean? Like the Black stuff, like that moment in time and the way they executed it and how they just,
Yeah,
you know, it was a positive album.
it
You know what I
was.
mean? Like, very uplifting and like the impact that it had on the community and to hip hop. You know, there was a lot of dope shit before De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, and la la la. But I think the Black Star represented hip hop like to its entirety.
The other
Like,
one that I thought of as parallel was Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh yes, that is a good track too.
and Rakim, not to discredit anything you said about Rakim, he is definitely one of the greatest of all times. And yeah, I think he originated that New York flow in the 90s. Because before then, like hip hop had a certain flow, and he was the one that kind of switched the style up.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I love Rakim to the core. And Paid in Full was amazing. Sure.
Shantel, what about you?
I'm gonna go with an album and not a song. I'm gonna say Nas's Illmatic. I feel like representation of hip hop is definitely in this album. It's one of the, for me, either that or It Was Written. Those two give you exactly the state of how New York founded hip hop and how it all came together. You have tracks, One Mic, You're the Man, Rewind, Got Yourself a Gun. You have I Gave You Power, Affirmative Action, If I Ruled the World. All these tracks within these albums for Nas. I just feel like Nas he's a storyteller, and you always leave with learning something from him. So for me, that's why I fell in love with hip hop. So I'm gonna say Nas all day. So
that's great. That's great. You're right. We should end it right there. We will see you next time. This is The Fix. Shantel, Conflict,